previously on I hated him, until I didn't. His name is Kim Jae-won, the youngest executive director in our company. Brilliant, ruthless, impossible. For 3 years, I avoided him. 3 years of leaving rooms when he entered. 3 years of pretending he didn't exist, until I had no choice. My department was being cut, my job, my career, everything I'd worked for. Disappearing, so I did the unthinkable. I walked into his office and begged for a spot on his Singapore project. He said yes, but Singapore changed everything. We talked, really talked. He wasn't the cold, arrogant executive I thought he was. He was lonely, vulnerable, real. And then, under the Singapore stars, he kissed me. And I kissed him back. For one perfect night, I thought maybe we could be something more. Then came the message. Late at night. After everything. After the kiss. After I'd let my guard down completely. There's something I need to tell you. About why I really brought you here. Shh. What did that mean? Why did he really bring me here? Was the kiss a lie? Was everything a lie? I didn't sleep that night. How could I? Now. I didn't sleep. How could I? His message kept replaying in my mind over and over. There's something I need to tell you. About why I really brought you here. I stared at the ceiling of my hotel room until the sky turned from black to gray. My phone sat on the nightstand, silent. No follow-up message, no explanation. Just that one sentence, hanging in the air like a thread. At 7 a.m, I heard movement in the hallway, his door opening. Footsteps, then silence. He was awake, too. I got up, showered, tried to make myself look presentable. But the mirror showed the truth, dark circles under my eyes. Hands that wouldn't stop shaking. I looked like someone preparing for bad news. Because I was. At 8, my phone buzzed. Breakfast. Downstairs in 20 minutes. My stomach twisted. This was it. Whatever secret he'd been keeping, whatever truth he'd been hiding. I was about to find out. I wanted to run, book a flight back to Seoul, quit my job, disappear before he could say the words that would ruin everything. But I didn't. I put on my most professional outfit, tied my hair back, and went downstairs. He was already there, sitting at a corner table away from other guests. He looked as tired as I felt. His usually perfect hair was slightly disheveled. His tie wasn't quite straight. When he saw me, something flickered in his eyes. Regret, fear. I couldn't tell. Sua, he said quietly, sit down, please. I sat, my hands folded in my lap to hide the trembling. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The silence stretched between us, heavy with everything unsaid. I shouldn't have sent that message last night, he finally said. It was cruel to leave you wondering. Then why did you? My voice came out sharper than I intended. He looked down at his coffee. Because I'm a coward. Because I wanted one more night where you looked at me the way you did at dinner, before everything changed. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. What are you talking about? What's going to change? He reached into his jacket and pulled out a folder. Placed it on the table between us. 3 months ago, the company decided to restructure your department. They were going to let you go, along with 5 others. I already knew this. Everyone knew. That's why I came to you. For the project, no. His voice was quiet but firm. That's not the whole story. He opened the folder. Inside were documents, emails, meeting notes. I found out about the restructuring before it was announced. I went to the executive board and made them an offer. If they delayed the decision for 3 months and gave me a chance to evaluate the employees personally, I would take responsibility for the final recommendations. My blood ran cold. What does that mean? It means I have the power to decide who stays and who goes, including you. The restaurant suddenly felt too small, too hot. I couldn't breathe. You've been evaluating me this whole time? Yes. He met my eyes, and I saw the pain there. That's why I brought you to Singapore, to work with you directly, to see your skills, your work ethic, your value to the company. I stood up so fast my chair scraped loudly against the floor. Several people turned to look. So last night, I said, my voice shaking. The dinner, the conversation, the kiss, That was all part of your evaluation. No. He stood too, reaching for my hand. I pulled away. Sua, please listen. You used me. The words came out as a whisper, but they felt like screaming. You made me think. You made me feel. I couldn't finish the sentence. I didn't use you. My feelings are real. Everything I said last night was true. How can I believe that? Tears were burning in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Not here. Not in front of him. You've been lying to me from the beginning. This whole project, this whole trip, it was just a test. And I was stupid enough to think it meant something. It does mean something. His voice rose, desperate. Sua, I brought you here because I wanted to help you. I wanted to give you a chance to prove yourself so I could justify keeping you on. Justify. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. You mean you needed evidence to support whatever decision you'd already made. That's not fair. Fair, now the tears did come, hot and angry. You want to talk about fair? You held my career in your hands and didn't tell me. You let me open up to you, share my fears, my insecurities, all while knowing you had the power to destroy everything I've worked for. And you think I'm being unfair? He looked stricken. I was trying to protect you. By lying to me, by giving you a chance. His hands clenched into fists at his sides. Do you know what the board wanted to do? They wanted to fire you immediately. No warning. No opportunity to prove yourself. I fought for you, Sua. I put my own reputation on the line to buy you time. I didn't ask you to do that. I know. His voice dropped. You didn't ask. I did it anyway. Because 3 years ago, when I first saw your work, I knew you were talented. Brilliant, even. And I couldn't stand by and watch the company throw you away because of politics and budget cuts. I wiped my eyes roughly. So what happens now? You go back and tell them whether I'm worth keeping. Give them your little report on my performance. It's not like that. Then what is it like? Explain it to me, Jaewon. Make me understand how any of this is okay. He ran a hand through his hair, looking more vulnerable than I'd ever seen him. The evaluation period ends in 2 weeks. After that, I submit my recommendations to the board. They make the final decision, but my opinion carries significant weight. And what's your opinion? I had to know, even though it hurt. Even though I wasn't sure I wanted to hear the answer. You're one of the most talented people in the company. Your work on this project has been exceptional. Any executive would be lucky to have you on their team. But nothing. There is no but. He took a step closer. I'm going to recommend that you not only keep your position, but that you be promoted. Transferred to my department with a significant raise. I stared at him. What? I've been planning this for weeks, even before Singapore. The project was real, Suada. Your contributions are real. Everything you've accomplished, you did on your own merit. Then why didn't you tell me? My voice broke. Why did you let me think this was something else? Something personal? Because it is personal. He was close enough now that I could see the exhaustion in his eyes. The same sleepless night written on his face. My professional opinion of you is based on facts and evidence. But my feelings for you, those have nothing to do with work. I've been trying to keep them separate, but I can't anymore. You should have told me from the beginning. I know. He looked down. I was afraid you'd think I was manipulating you. Afraid you'd reject the help because of your pride. Afraid of exactly this. You, looking at me like I'm the enemy. I wrapped my arms around myself. I don't know what to think right now. Then don't think, just listen. He reached out slowly, giving me time to pull away. When I didn't, he gently took my hands. I made a mistake by not being honest with you. I was trying to protect you, but I ended up hurting you instead. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. I know, but it's all I have right now. His thumbs brushed over my knuckles. I can't change what I did. I can't take back the secret I kept. But I can promise you this, from now on, no more lies, no more secrets. Complete honesty, even when it's hard. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to so badly. But trust, once broken, doesn't heal overnight. I need time, I said quietly, to process this, to figure out what I'm feeling. Of course. He released my hands and I immediately missed the warmth. Take all the time you need. And the project. We continue as planned. You're here as my professional equal, Sua, not as someone being evaluated. That part is over. I've already made my decision about your future with the company. Just like that. Just like that. A small, sad smile crossed his face. You proved yourself in the first 2 days. Everything after that has just been confirmation of what I already knew. You're exceptional. I didn't know what to say to that. Part of me was angry. Part of me was relieved. And part of me, the part I didn't want to acknowledge, was still desperately in love with him. I'm going back to my room, I said. I need to be alone. Okay. He didn't try to stop me. We have a meeting at 2 this afternoon with the Singapore team. If you need to cancel, I'll be there. I straightened my shoulders. I'm a professional, Jaewon. Whatever is happening between us personally, I won't let it affect my work. Something flickered in his eyes. Admiration, pride. I never doubted that. I turned to leave, then stopped. One more question. Anything. The 3 times you tried to transfer me to your department, before all this, was that part of the evaluation too? No. His answer was immediate. That was me trying to work with someone I admired. Someone I wanted to know better. The board rejected all 3 requests because they said you were too valuable to your current department. Ironic, isn't it? They wouldn't let me have you then, but they were ready to let you go now. I nodded slowly. Thank you for telling me. Sua? He called out as I started walking away. For what it's worth, last night was the best night I've had in years. And it had nothing to do with work. It was just you and me. That was real. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. Because if I looked at him, I might cry again. Or worse, I might forgive him before I was ready. Back in my room, I collapsed on the bed and finally let myself fall apart. Sob, the tears came hard and fast. All the emotion I'd been holding back pouring out. He'd lied to me, kept secrets, held my career in his hands without telling me, but he'd also fought for me, protected me, given me opportunities I wouldn't have had otherwise. I didn't know which truth to hold on to, the betrayal or the care. The lies or the love. My phone buzzed. A message from my best friend, Minji. How's Singapore? Are you having fun with Mr. Ice King? I almost laughed. If only she knew. I typed back, it's complicated. Her response was immediate. Complicated how? Did something happen? I'll tell you when I get back. It's too much to explain over text. Now I'm worried. Are you okay? Was I okay? I honestly didn't know. I will be, I typed. I think. I spent the rest of the morning working, reviewing documents, preparing for the afternoon meeting, throwing myself into the project because it was easier than thinking about Jaewon. At 1:30 I got ready, professional outfit, perfect makeup to hide the evidence of crying, hair pulled back in a sleek ponytail. When I looked in the mirror, I saw someone strong, someone capable, someone who wouldn't let personal drama interfere with her career, even if that person was barely holding it together inside. The meeting was in a conference room on the 15th floor. When I arrived, Jaewon was already there, talking with 2 executives from the Singapore office. He looked up when I entered. Our eyes met for just a second, and I saw the question there. Are you okay? I gave him a small nod. Not forgiveness, not yet, but acknowledgement. We could do this. We could be professional. Miss Lee, one of the Singapore executives, greeted me warmly. Mr. Kim has been telling us wonderful things about your contributions to the project. We're excited to hear your presentation. My presentation. Right. I'd prepared this days ago, before everything got complicated. I set up my laptop, pulled up the slides, and began. And something amazing happened. As I talked about market analysis, strategic positioning, and growth opportunities, I forgot about the hurt. I forgot about the confusion. I became the professional I'd worked so hard to be. I was good at this. Really good, and everyone in the room could see it. When I finished, there was a moment of silence. Then the Singapore executives started asking questions. Thoughtful, engaged questions that showed they'd been paying attention. I answered each one confidently. This was my expertise, my domain. Here, I was in control. After an hour, the meeting wrapped up. The executives shook my hand, told me they looked forward to working with me, and left. Anyone and I were alone in the conference room. That was incredible, he said quietly. You were incredible. Thank you. I started packing up my laptop. Sua, can we talk? We are talking. You know what I mean. He moved closer. Please, I know you're angry. You have every right to be, but don't shut me out completely. I zipped up my laptop bag. I'm not shutting you out. I'm protecting myself. From me. From getting hurt again. I finally looked at him. Really looked at him. He said you wanted honesty. So here's my honesty. I have feelings for you, real feelings. And finding out about the evaluation, about the secrets, it made me question everything. Were your feelings real, or was I just a project to you? Someone to save? You were never a project. His voice was intense. You were the woman who challenged me, who made me laugh, who saw past the cold executive everyone else sees. You were the person I looked forward to seeing every day, even when we were barely speaking. Then why didn't you trust me with the truth? Because I'm an idiot. A bitter laugh escaped him. Because I'm used to controlling everything, managing every variable. I thought I could handle this situation, protect you, and keep my feelings separate. I was wrong. I sat down in one of the conference chairs. What do we do now? He sat across from me. That depends on you, on what you want. I want to finish this project, do good work. Prove that I deserve my career, not because you fought for me, but because I earned it. You have earned it. You've always earned it. And personally, I had to ask, what happens with us? That's up to you too. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. I want to be with you, Sua'a. Not as your boss, not as the person evaluating you, just as a man who's falling in love with a woman who drives him crazy in the best possible way. My heart stuttered. You're falling in love with me. I think I'd been falling for 3 years. I just didn't let myself admit it until now. I closed my eyes. This was too much. Too fast, too complicated. I need time, I said again. Time to trust you again. Time to figure out if this is real or if I'm just caught up in the romance of Singapore and the intensity of working together. I'll give you all the time you need. He stood up. But I'm not giving up on us. I'll prove to you that my feelings are real, that I'm worth trusting again. How? I don't know yet. A small smile. But I'll figure it out. I'm very determined when I want something. I've noticed. We stood there looking at each other across the conference table. So much had changed in 24 hours. Yesterday, we kissed under the Singapore stars. Today, we were navigating betrayal and broken trust. But underneath all the hurt and confusion, the attraction was still there. The connection. The feeling that this person, despite everything, might be worth fighting for. I should go, I said. I have work to finish. Sua. He stopped me at the door. Thank you. For what? For not walking away completely. For giving me a chance to make this right. I didn't respond. I just left, my heart a confused mess of anger and hope. The next few days were strange. We worked together during the day, professional and focused. But there was a tension underneath everything. Unfinished conversations. Unresolved feelings. He kept his promise about honesty. When I asked questions about the evaluation, about his decisions, about anything, he answered truthfully. No more secrets. Slowly, very slowly, the trust started to rebuild. On the 4th night in Singapore, we had dinner again. Not romantic this time. Just 2 colleagues eating together after a long day. Can I ask you something? I said, pushing rice around my plate. Always. Why did you really fight for me? And don't say it's because of my work. There are lots of talented people in the company. He was quiet for a moment. Do you remember the first time we met? 3 years ago at the company retreat. Vaguely. I was new. You were already a rising star. You gave a presentation about innovative marketing strategies. Everyone else was playing it safe, suggesting incremental changes. But you proposed something bold, risky. And when the senior executives pushed back, you didn't back down. You defended your ideas with passion and intelligence. I did remember that. It hadn't gone well. My ideas were rejected and I'd felt like a failure. I watched you that day, Jaewon continued, and I thought, that's the kind of person I want on my team. Someone who isn't afraid to challenge the status quo. I tried to recruit you right after that presentation. That was the first transfer request. I never knew that. You weren't supposed to. HR handles those things quietly. He smiled, but I never forgot you. And when I heard about the restructuring, I couldn't let you go without a fight. So you do have a savior complex. Maybe he laughed, or maybe I just recognize talent when I see it. And I'm selfish enough to want that talent working with me. It was the most honest he'd been. No romantic declarations. Just the truth. He valued me professionally. And that had grown into something personal. I could work with that. I could trust that. Thank you, I said quietly, for fighting for me, even if you did it in the most complicated way possible. You're welcome, even though I messed it up spectacularly. We smiled at each other, and for the first time since the revelation, it felt easy. Natural. Maybe we could find our way back to each other. Maybe trust could be rebuilt. Maybe. That night, as I was getting ready for bed, my phone rang. Jaewon. Is something wrong? I answered, no. I wanted to hear your voice. My heart did that stupid fluttering thing again. You saw me an hour ago. I know, but we were being professional. I missed the version of you from that first night. The one who laughed at my terrible jokes and told me about her dreams. That version of me is still here. She's just being cautious. I understand. I just wanted you to know that I'm thinking about you. And I hope you're sleeping better than I am. Are you not sleeping? Not really. I keep replaying everything. Wishing I'd done things differently. Me too, I admitted. But we can't change the past. We can only move forward. Is that what we're doing? Moving forward? I think so. Slowly. Carefully. But yes, I'll take slowly and carefully. His voice was warm. As long as it means I haven't lost you completely. You haven't lost me. But you have to earn me back. Challenge accepted. We talked for another hour. About nothing important. About everything. And when we finally hung up, I realized I was smiling. Maybe this could work. Maybe we could find a way through the complications and the hurt. Maybe love was worth the risk. The next morning, I woke up to a note slipped under my door. Jaewon's handwriting. Good morning. I hope you slept well. There's a surprise waiting for you in the hotel lobby at 9. Trust me. I looked at the clock. 8:30. Did I trust him? After everything. I thought about the last few days. The honesty. The effort. The way he'd kept every promise he'd made. Maybe I did. Maybe I was ready to try. I got dressed quickly and went downstairs. In the lobby, Jaewon was waiting. And next to him was a woman I recognized from photos on his desk. Sue-ah, he said. I want you to meet someone. This is my sister, Jiwon. She flew in this morning. His sister smiled warmly. I've heard so much about you. My brother talks about you constantly. I looked at Jaewon, confused. I don't understand. You said you needed to trust me again, he said. So I'm showing you every part of my life. No more secrets, no more walls. Starting with the person who knows me best. Jiwon laughed. He's been nervous about this all morning. Kept asking if it was too much, too soon. I told him if you're the woman he says you are, you'll appreciate the gesture. I did appreciate it, more than I could say, because this wasn't just about romance. This was about letting me in. Really in. It's nice to meet you, I said to Jiwon, my voice thick with emotion. You too. Now I'm stealing you for the day. Girl time. My brother has been monopolizing you, and I want to get to know the woman who's made him smile again. Again. I glanced at Jaewon. He's been miserable for years, Jiwon said cheerfully. All work, no life. But lately he's been different. Happier. That's because of you. Jaewon looked embarrassed. Jaewon, you don't have to. Oh, I absolutely do. Someone needs to tell her what a catch you are, since you're terrible at showing it. I laughed, really laughed. And just like that, The last bit of ice around my heart started to melt. We spent the day together, Jiwon and I. She told me stories about Jaewon as a kid, about how he'd always been protective, always trying to fix things for people he cared about. He means well, she said over lunch, but sometimes he forgets that people don't want to be saved. They want to be supported. That's exactly it, I said. I don't need him to rescue me. I need him to stand beside me. Have you told him that? Not in those words. You should. My brother is brilliant, but he's not a mind reader. Tell him what you need. He'll listen. That evening, when Jiwon left to check into her own hotel, Jaewon walked me back to my room. Thank you for today, I said. Your sister is wonderful. She likes you. She told me you're too good for me, and I better not screw this up. Smart woman. We stood outside my door, the hallway quiet around us. Suah, I don't need you to save me, I interrupted. I need you to be my partner, my equal. Someone who trusts me to fight my own battles but stands beside me when I need support. He nodded slowly. I can do that. I want to do that. Then we can try. Really try, not just the romance, but the partnership. Are you saying what I think you're saying? I'm saying I forgive you, and I want to see where this goes, slowly, carefully. But together, the smile that broke across his face was worth every moment of pain and confusion. Together, he repeated. I like the sound of that. He reached out, tucking a strand of hair behind my ear. The gesture was gentle, tentative, asking permission. I leaned into his touch. Can I kiss you? He whispered. Yes. This kiss was different from the first, less desperate, more certain. A promise instead of a question. When we pulled apart, we were both smiling. Good night, Suah. Good night, Jaewon. I went into my room, closed the door, and leaned against it. My heart was racing, but this time it was from happiness, not fear. We had a long way to go, trust to rebuild, complications to navigate, but for the first time since that devastating morning revelation, I felt hopeful. Maybe we could make this work. Maybe love was worth the risk after all. My phone buzzed, a message from Jaewon. I forgot to tell you something important. My heart skipped. What? The board meeting is next week, where I submit my recommendations. Okay. I'm recommending you for promotion, but there's a complication. My stomach dropped. Here we go again. What complication? If you accept the promotion to my department, we'll be working together directly. Every day, and the company has strict policies about workplace relationships. What kind of policies? The kind that require disclosure. The kind that might make things complicated for us professionally. I stared at the phone. This was it. The real test. Career or relationship. Ambition or love. So what are you saying? I'm saying you have a choice to make. Accept the promotion and we figure out how to navigate the workplace relationship policies together. Or stay in your current department, keep your job secure, and we explore this relationship without professional complications. You're asking me to choose between my career and you. No. I'm asking you to choose what's right for you. Whatever you decide, I'll support it. Even if it means we can't be together the way I want. I sat down on the bed, phone clutched in my hand. This was the choice I'd been afraid of, the impossible decision. But maybe it wasn't impossible. Maybe it was just complicated. And maybe, just maybe, I was brave enough to handle complicated. I need to think about this, I typed. Take all the time you need. The board meeting is in 7 days. You don't have to decide until then. 7 days to choose my future. 7 days to figure out if love was worth the risk of professional complications. 7 days to decide who I wanted to be. I looked out the window at the Singapore skyline, glittering with lights and possibilities. Somewhere in this city, Jaewon was probably staring out his own window, wondering what I would choose. The truth was, I didn't know yet, but I had 7 days to figure it out. And something told me that whatever I decided, it would change everything.